There's a fear that doesn't scream, it whispers. It hides in the shadows, in the silence between breaths. Anime is often action and romance, but sometimes it dares to disturb. These aren't just horror animes, they're stories that haunt you long after. Welcome to Nonagon, your space for epic lists and the darker side of anime. Today, we're counting down 6 animes that don't just scare, they stay with you. So turn off the lights, or maybe don't. And hey, subscribe now so you don't miss what's coming. Let's begin. Starting off at number 6, we have Made in Abyss. Don't let the soft character designs fool you. This isn't a whimsical journey into Wonderland. It's a slow descent into hell. At first glance, Made in Abyss lures you in with curiosity. A massive vertical chasm known as the Abyss, filled with ancient relics and mysterious creatures. Explorers called Delvers risk their lives venturing down into its layers, driven by ambition, obsession, or desperation. But the deeper you go, the less human things become. And I'm not just talking about the monsters. We follow Riko, a young girl determined to reach the bottom and find her lost mother. She's joined by Reg, a boy-shaped robot with a forgotten past. Their journey begins with wonder, but it doesn't take long for the tone to shift, dramatically. The Abyss punishes every step downward. With each layer, the curse of the Abyss intensifies, warping bodies, shredding sanity, and turning return trips into slow, agonizing deaths. There's a particular scene, in the 5th layer, involving a character named Midi. It's not just horrifying, it's soul-crushing. Her transformation is a living tragedy, and what happens to her is one of the most viscerally painful moments in modern anime. Not because of gore, but because of what it says about suffering, loss of identity, and the cruelty of progress at all costs. The horror of Made in Abyss lies in contrast, the childish tone versus the unspeakable acts, the beauty of the animation versus the grotesque consequences of every choice. It's a world that punishes hope and rewards obsession, with silence, with blood, and with irreversible trauma. And when you realize that the Abyss is practically a character itself, ancient, hungry, and indifferent, that's when the darkness truly sets in. It's not the monsters that haunt you, it's the feeling that some places were never meant to be touched, and that going deeper was never about discovery, but about losing your soul one layer at a time. Let's just say, once you hear the words, "I want to be useful," you'll never unhear them. Coming up next, an anime that blurs the line between reality and paranoia. And no, you're not imagining it. At number 5, it's The Promised Neverland. Season 1. A white-fenced orphanage, children laughing, a motherly caretaker who always smiles. For 11 minutes, this anime convinces you that everything is fine. Then, with a single door left open, it rips that illusion apart. Grace Fieldhouse is home to orphans like Emma, Norman, and Ray. Smart, kind-hearted kids living a seemingly perfect life. But when one of the younger children forgets her stuffed toy and Emma follows to return it, she finds a corpse instead. And not just any corpse. A child, packed and ready for delivery, to something not human. This isn't a school, it's a farm. And Mom isn't raising them, she's harvesting them. What follows is a masterclass in tension. The Promised Neverland doesn't rely on gore or jump scares. It traps you in a world of silent terror, where every smile hides surveillance and every hallway feels like a prison. The threat isn't just physical, it's psychological. These children are playing 4D chess against adults who've perfected the game. The horror here is clinical, cold, institutionalized. You feel it in the way the camera lingers on closed doors, the way footsteps echo through the halls, the way information is hoarded and weaponized. It's a prison break story, yes, but one where failure doesn't mean capture. It means being eaten. And the antagonists, the demons aren't even the scariest part. It's Isabella, the mom who walks softly, smiles warmly, and calmly ensures the death of children she's raised. Her presence alone chills the air in any scene she enters. Her lullaby isn't comforting, it's a countdown. This is what The Promised Neverland does best. It builds horror through hope. It makes you believe these kids can escape, and then reminds you exactly what they're escaping from. Every time the sun rises, it feels earned. But the night is where the monsters wait, and not all of them have claws. Next up, a golden bat, a crooked smile, and a city unraveling one delusion at a time. Sliding into number 4 is Paranoia Agent, the anime that doesn't just scare you, it questions your grip on reality. a golden bat, rollerblades, a metal smile. That's all it takes for Tokyo to start cracking at the edges. It begins with a woman. Tsukiko Sagi, a timid character designer, attacked in an alley by a boy with a bent bat. The police call him Shonen Bat. But as more victims appear, each swearing it was the same child, the truth slips further and further away. Created by Satoshi Kon, Paranoia Agent isn't horror in the conventional sense, it's psychological rot. It doesn't chase you with monsters, it peels away your layers until you realize the monster might be you. Each episode is a case study in mental collapse. Victims of Shunin Bat aren't random. They're people under extreme pressure, breaking under modern life's invisible weight. Students, housewives, journalists, even detectives. All of them find salvation in being attacked. But here's the twist. The Batboy might not even be real. The show twists timelines, shifts perspectives, and blurs fantasy with fact. You're never sure what's happening, and that's the point. It's an infection of the mind, a collective delusion spreading through the city, feeding on fear, denial, and the desperate need to escape. There's one sequence, mid-series, that stands out like a bad dream. A trio of suicidal strangers forming a friendship in limbo. It's absurd, darkly funny, and deeply unsettling. Like the rest of the anime, it exists in that space between laughter and horror, a space only Satoshi Kon could master. And as the city unravels, the Batboy mutates, becomes myth, becomes God. And you start to ask, was the fear always external? Or did we just give shape to what was already inside us? Paranoia. Agent is horror that doesn't end when the credits roll. It lingers, in mirrors, in news feeds, in that creeping suspicion that maybe you're not okay, and everyone's too busy pretending to notice. Coming up, a cursed classroom where the deaths are random, the rules are broken, and even umbrellas become lethal. At number 3, we step into the blood-soaked mystery of another. It starts like a classic ghost story. A new transfer student, a small town, and a class with a terrible secret. Koichi Sakakibara arrives at Yomiyama North Middle School and immediately senses something is off. One student is always ignored. No one speaks of the past, and the moment he asks the wrong question, the body count begins. Class 3-3 is cursed. Every year, unless specific and chilling countermeasures are followed, people start dying. Not just students, families, teachers, bystanders. Death comes creatively and cruelly. Elevators snap cables, boats capsize, umbrellas go through throats. The curse doesn't just kill, it humiliates, it terrifies, it escalates. What makes another so unnerving isn't just the deaths themselves, though they're horrifyingly memorable. It's the atmosphere, the stillness in the halls, the way the rain feels heavier, the growing sense that no one knows the rules anymore. And when people start to panic, they turn on each other. This isn't just supernatural horror. It's group hysteria in slow motion. The mystery behind the curse runs deep, with memories rewritten and truths buried under layers of denial. The one girl no one acknowledges? Mei Misaki, an eye-patched enigma who holds the key to everything. Or maybe she doesn't, because in another, even the answers come at a cost. There's a particular scene, a class trip that turns into a massacre. And what begins as an effort to escape the curse becomes a Lord of the Flies-style collapse. Friends kill friends. Fear drives people to madness. And all of it happens under a blood-red sky, in a place meant to be safe. Another is about inevitability. About what happens when people stop asking, how do we stop this? And start asking, who do we blame? It's claustrophobic, cruel, and cruelly addictive. And by the end, you'll find yourself side-eyeing your classmates and avoiding umbrellas altogether. Next up, a pop idol who can't tell where the stage ends and the nightmare begins. Number 2, Perfect Blue, where the terror isn't outside. It's in the reflection. Mima Kirigo was a pop idol. Keyword was. She leaves her bubblegum group, Cham, to pursue a serious acting career. And that's when the cracks begin to show. Stalkers, identity theft, a blog written in her name, describing her every move in chilling detail. But the real horror? It's when Mima starts seeing herself, the version she left behind, smiling at her with pure hatred. Perfect Blue is not a ghost story. It's not about monsters. It's about a woman losing control of her career, her image, her mind. Directed by Satoshi Kon, this psychological thriller strips away reality like peeling skin. You never know what's a dream, What's a hallucination? What's performance? And neither does Mima. As she lands a role in a brutal crime drama, she's forced to film scenes of sexual violence, to be objectified, to become something she never wanted. And somewhere in that transformation, the real Mima gets lost. Is she the idol, the actress, the persona her fans demand, or just an echo trapped in her own fame? One scene captures the descent perfectly. Mima standing alone in her apartment, watching her idol self on the other side of the screen, mocking her. The camera doesn't cut. It just lingers, watching her unravel, and the silence, it's deafening. Then come the murders. Someone is killing the people who betrayed the idol Mima. A photographer, a screenwriter, a manager. All while Mima herself is questioning whether she's even the one doing it. Because when your identity is public property, when strangers think they know you better than you know yourself, what's left to protect? Perfect Blue isn't just disturbing, it's invasive. It claws into your sense of self, your media habits, your relationship with performers, and the personas they wear. And it never gives you firm ground to stand on. Every reflection is a threat. Every fan is a suspect. Every scream might be real. Or just the sound check. Finally, an entire village plunged into darkness. And the monsters look just like your neighbors. And taking the #1 spot, Shiki. Because true horror doesn't come from monsters, it comes from how people respond to them. Sotoba is a quiet, rural village surrounded by forest. Peaceful, isolated, the kind of place where nothing ever happens until people start dying. At first, it's just a few unexplained deaths, then more, and more. Always at night, always pale, with no clear cause. The village doctors are baffled, the priest is uneasy, and the viewer knows. Something is feeding. The Shiki, vampire-like beings, move in quietly, almost politely. They don't snarl, they whisper, they beg, they justify, and soon they overtake. But here's the twist. The show doesn't stop with monsters bad, humans good. Far from it. Shiki dares to flip the narrative, to show the other side. We meet Tsunako, a centuries-old girl in a child's body who doesn't want to die again. We see families torn between loyalty and survival, and we watch as the humans, those proud defenders of life, begin to lose their humanity in the process of taking it back. There's one moment, deep into the series, when the villagers decide to fight back. But it's not a clean resistance. It's a slaughter. And what was once a quiet village turns into a blood-soaked stage of revenge and ritual. Screams echo through abandoned houses. Flames consume old grudges. And the line between justice and cruelty disappears entirely. This is where Shiki becomes more than a horror anime. It becomes a moral autopsy. It asks, when the darkness comes, what will you do? Stand? Hide? Or become something worse than what you fear? The animation style, with its haunting eyes and unnatural shadows, adds to the unease. Daylight feels sterile. Night is oppressive. And silence? Silence means someone just died. Shiki doesn't end with catharsis. It ends with ashes, questions, and guilt. It lingers like the smell of smoke after a fire you helped start. And it makes you wonder, in a village full of monsters, who was the real threat? Let's wrap this up, but keep a light on, just in case. So, let's recap. From the abyss to paranoia, from cursed classrooms to shattered minds, these animes don't just scare, they stay. They haunt you in the silence, in the shadows, in the faces you thought you could trust. Which one messed you up the most? Or did we miss one that still keeps you awake? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more journeys into the dark side of anime, hit that subscribe button now, before the next story finds you first. Nonagon, epic lists, anime insights, and the darker side of storytelling.